According to News Center, Philippines reported an increase on the numbers of cases in COVID-19. To enforce this growing concern, the national government led by DOH Secretary Francisco Duque, in cooperation with Center for Disease and Control and Prevention and local government units, the Executive Secretary highly mandates our medical allied health workers coming from different sectors to initiate response that will protect them from the harmful virus. It was previously mentioned in a telebriefing from News Center that the sudden increase of cases amidst the ongoing vaccination for COVID-19 is highly alarming. Thus, mandatory practice of donning and doffing is put into scene.
Good evening, Philippines. Welcome to Information Exposé. Tonight is a highlighted episode because we will going to discuss about the importance of PPE and how donning and doffing are properly done. Let us welcome our first guest, CDC representative, to explain to us and educate to us the importance of PPE. Sir, thank you so much for being here with us. You know what? It's a pleasure for us Filipinos, especially that you are here, and the fact that this is an exclusive talk show is already a privilege and a great opportunity for us Filipinos. And on behalf of every Filipino, I am so thankful for you being here with us tonight.
Alright, let's have the first question. Sir, what is really the science behind this PPE, and could you please educate us, because we are no math scientists here after all. Kidding aside.
In relation to our current situation right now, which is the COVID-19 pandemic, it is really important not only to protect ourselves, but also the one risking their lives in providing healthcare for infected individuals. So in one of our platforms, we have highlighted to do some trainings for healthcare personnel on how to select and use personal protective equipments to protect themselves from the exposure of microbiological hazards in the healthcare setting, especially on our current situation.
Okay, sir. What is this really you're trying to say, PPE? And are there any interchangeable factors? I mean, factors that might affect the quality of the protection it gives to the wearer or to our health workers?
Brilliant question. A PPE is a specialized clothing or equipment worn by an employee for protection against infectious materials. There are several factors influencing PPE selection. This could be the type of exposure, such as splashes or spray, versus touch, and the category of isolation precautions. What we mean by this is that where would be a certain PPE should be used. Another thing is the durability and appropriateness for the task, and of course, if it fits well to our health practitioner.
Now that's what we really call science. Okay. For our next question would be intended for our DOH Secretary, Mr. Francisco Duque. It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Secretary, especially that we have surging cases of COVID-19 cases in our country.
Exactly, Tito Sapi. It is to serve our Filipino people is what we are trying to uphold in these trying times of our administration.
Without any further ado, Mr. Secretary, I would like to address this question. Did the government initiate any response or action towards the surging cases of the COVID-19 cases in our country?
Actually, Tito Sapi, as of April 1, 2020, we have a 15,000 sets of PPE from the first tranche procured by our national government. Each of these PPE will undergo a thorough inspection and a quality assurance before they are being distributed through our Office of Civil Defense. And there are also remaining 985 sets of PPE is set to arrive between the days of April 6 to 24.
Mr. Duque, could we ask you about the budget of this PPE? Or if this the budget that the national government allocated for the personal protective equipment for our health workers?
The procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management facilitated the procurement of 1 billion sets of PPE that is worth 1.8 billion. Each PPE set is complete with coveralls including N95 masks, gloves, goggles, surgical masks, surgical gowns, head covers, and even shoe covers. The complete sets of PPE ensures that our healthcare providers are being duly protected while they are providing care for our COVID-19 patients. And regarding with the concern of the uprising COVID-19 cases, hospitals and other healthcare facilities are advised to send their requests for PPEs and other supplies for proper allocation via email.
Thank you so much, Secretary Duque, and to our CDC representative. Now, amidst the growing concern of the pandemic, different educational institutions still pursued online classes. One of our guests tonight is a top medical student who will represent her school all the way from Butuan. Everyone, let us welcome Ms. Nelgie Pilapil from Butuan Doctors College to demonstrate the donning and doffing of PPE. Good evening.
Good evening, Tito Sapi. It is really a dream come true that I'll be exposing myself in front of every Filipino television.
You know what? It is really crystal clear that you have a kind personality as student. Perhaps you will not just televise yourself in front of Filipino television, but also educate every Filipino, including me, of course, and especially our medical allied health workers. Ms. Nelgie Pilapil, we have mentioned earlier the importance of PPE and the mandate of system of the national government for different sectors, or specifically for health sectors. Now, Ms. Pilapil, could you please explain to us or share to us how it is being done?
I would love to, Tito. As to our school po, we term these procedures as donning, how to wear the PPE, and doffing, how to remove the PPE.
Gosh, I didn't know about that. Oh, I'm sorry. Please continue, Ms. Pilapil.
So I was saying, this donning and doffing follows both a logical sequence of steps. Tito Sapi, it is strictly implemented that this procedure should medical students adhere to establish safety of the health workers.
Really a must. In no delay, could you please demonstrate to us how donning and doffing of PPE are properly done, Ms. Pilapil?
It would be much of my pleasure, Tito Sapi.
Ensure that all the needed supplies are available. Ensure that a trained observer is available to verify compliance with all steps. Remove jewelries and contents of pocket. Hair must be in a bun. prepare for donning of PPE, student must stand straight.
Put on boot covers. Perform hand hygiene. Put on the gloves. Put on the coverall gown. Make sure that the coverall is big enough to allow free movement. Zip up coverall. Put N95 respirator. Cup the respirator in your hand with the nosepiece at the fingertips. Position the respirator under your chin with the nosepiece up. Pull the strap over your head, resting it high at the back of your head. Pull the bottom strap over your head and position it around the neck below the ears. Mold the nosepiece using 2 fingers at each hand to shape of your nose. Perform seal check. Inhale deeply and feel the respirator slightly being sucked in. Exhale sharply and feel the respirator slightly bulge. Put on hood. Make sure that the hood cover all the hair, ear, and neck with no skin exposed. Put on outer apron. Put on outer gloves. Put on face shield or goggles. Make sure that all parts of the skin are covered. Let the trained observer check the worn PPE. All areas of the body should be covered during the range of motion. The health worker should be able to extend arms, bend at the waist, and do range motion. Disinfect outer gloves. Remove apron. Break the apron by pulling from the neck. Avoid contaminating the gloves by rolling the apron from inside out. Inspect the PPE for tears or visible contamination. Disinfect the outer gloves. Remove boot covers. Use a hand-free approach by stepping on the back of the coverall and lifting the foot. Pick up the boot covers and touch only the inner surface of the boot covers, then throw. Disinfect the outer gloves. Remove the outer gloves. Inspect and disinfect the inner gloves. In case of contamination or tears, disinfect and remove gloves and do hand hygiene on bare hand. Remove goggles. Lift back of strap over your head. Pull out and away. Avoid touching the front of shield or goggles. Disinfect the gloves. Remove the hood. Unfasten the hood. Grasp the back of the hood and remove carefully by pulling backwards. Do not touch the inside of the hood. Remove the coverall and discard. Avoid touching or contacting of scrub with other surface of coverall. Lift chin. Find the zip at the level of your belly. Carefully trace your fingers up to find the zip tab and unfasten with one hand. Hold the top of the coverall with the other hand. Unzip or unfasten completely before rolling down and turning inside out. Avoid contact with the scrub with the other surface of the coverall. Touch only the inside of the coverall when rolling it prior to disposal. Disinfect the gloves. Change the inner gloves. Remove the inner gloves, then discard them. Perform hand hygiene. Put on a new pair of gloves. Remove N95 respirator. Tilt the head slightly forward. First, grab the bottom tie or elastic strap. Then grab the top tie or elastic strap. Remove without touching the front of the N95 respirator. Discard the N95 respirator. Disinfect the gloves. Disinfect and remove the gloves. Discard the gloves. Perform hand hygiene with alcohol-based hand rub. Hand hygiene is based on hand washing steps.